Hello, 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 and welcome to 2018 and Let's Talk Shop with Russ. Yep, here we are, 2018. Now, I am actually glad myself that 2017 is over. We had some family members pass in 2017, and just a lot of stuff. And I know a lot of y'all are glad 2017 is over, but and with 2018 starting, it is season 4. Yeah, 4 seasons. It's not been 4 exactly years, because that when I started, it was like in September. But 4 seasons almost of Let's Talk Shop with Russ. So last time I calculated, it was over 120 shows, I think it was. So pretty cool. So, and we're starting out a new season, and I'm glad to have y'all all out there, and I'm glad to have my panel that's down there and ready for us. Couple of things real quick. I posted in over on Facebook the winners from the last 3 Saturdays of Christmas, and they were Patrick Hagan, Marcus Harvey, and Jeffrey Deckard. So they will be getting their gifts from the last of the giveaways for the 3 Saturdays of Christmas from 2017. So, and I'm working on something really special, because January is also, actually September would have been when I would have celebrated that one, like the 3rd year, I think it was actually, or 3.5 years. Yeah, the 3rd year in September with the Let's Talk Shop with Russ. But actually it was January when Simply Wooden Creations got its start. I opened it up the YouTube channel in, I think, December, but actually the first videos weren't posted in January. So January is usually when I have my celebration. So in one of these Saturdays, and the next couple of Saturdays, we're going to be having the 4th year, I guess it is, 4th or 5th year, whatever it is, for the Simply Wooden Creations. And I'm going to combine that, since we didn't do anything for Let's Talk Shop with Russ back in September. I'm going to combine them together, and we're going to have one of our Saturday afternoons going to be a party, and I'm going to have try to have a special giveaway for that. So that's coming in the future. It will be one of the Saturdays here in January before we get out of January. So it'll either be the 13th, the 20th, or the 27th. I'm looking at the calendars right now. So one of those 3 Saturdays will have the party. So celebrate how long I've been on YouTube and doing all this. And like I said, we'll combine it with the Let's Talk Shop with Russ also. Other than that, let me talk about my wonderful sponsors, and they are Devobal Technologies. For web design, development, and hosting, visit devobal.com. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. And Rockler, 60 years in woodworking, create with confidence. Visit rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company, your best choice for hard to find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. And Klingspor, the sanding specialist, woodworkingshop.com. So visit one of my sponsors and buy something from them. And also, I didn't pull it up, but back to the 3 Saturdays and the 3 winners. Let me pull this up over here on Facebook on this computer real quick, because I can't remember. If I don't write it down, trust me, I don't remember. I'm bad about that. My wife ties a string around my finger so I'll remember, and I forget what the string's there for. Patrick Hagan, he got the $25 gift certificate from Bearwood Supply. Marcus Harvey got the FastCap 2P10 kit, and Jeffrey Decker got the Rockler Bench Cookie Plus Master Kit. So I just wanted to bring that up. So, excuse me. Anyway, so that's that. What we're going to do tonight is and another thing I want to say, if you have something, all y'all out there listening, if you have something that you want to show us that you do in your shop, you're going to need internet, you're going to need a microphone, you're going to need a camera. Here's my microphone right here. So if you have something in your shop that you do that you would like to show us, you're more than welcome to be the guest on the show one week. So just PM me over or hit me up on Facebook or send a email to Russ at simplywoodencreations.com. and we'll schedule you in throughout the years. I'm more than open to do that for anybody. So, and anybody that wants to do it, or if you have something like, if you do pyrography, if you do carving, if you do anything that pertains to making or woodworking in any way, shape, or form, and you want to show us a particular tool that you have, something that you invented, like we had, what was it, Andy Klein, I think, that invented the saw blades that cut the plywood for the corners to make the drawers. I mean, I had him on here, and he even sold that invention to Rockler, which Rockler sells it now. So great stuff. But if you're out there and have that, let me know. Let me talk about the people over in the chat real quick. Let's see. I see Robbie Sidney. I see James Parker, Tom Spillane, Ken Moon from Moon Pie Creations. Michelle Marcoux is out there. Not just Sawdust. They're all out there in the chat. And I am so happy y'all are out there, and I'm glad to see y'all, and glad y'all are watching. So anyway, somebody out there should recognize that. So I just thought I would let them know that. So anyway, I'm glad to have y'all all on the panel. But like I said, if you would like to be the guest, PM me on Facebook or anything on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Just send me some kind of a message on Facebook, or send an email to russ@simplywoodencreations.com. That's how you can get a hold of me, and we will mark you down. Robbie Sidney said, haha, Russ, you need to take out the glass. Next show is cardboard cars. Okay.
She got it, Russ. She saw it.
She got it. Okay, good.
Yep.
I'm glad she got that. All right, James Parker asked out there, can I ask a question, Russ? When I was turning some 1.5" in cedar, the blade was wandering on me. How can I stop this? It was turning. When you're making the turns, the corner turns, you were swooping it around, the blade wanted to wander rather than following. There's two things that can be happening. If you're talking about a scroll saw now, I hope that's what you're talking about. Anybody else, can y'all read that James Parker question and see if I'm getting it the same way?
Yeah, he's on a scroll saw, Russ.
Yeah, that's what I thought. When you're going around trying to make that turn the wood and go around the corner, if your blade wants to wander, two things can be happening. First thing is your blade's not enough tension on it, because it'll want to wander if there's not enough tension. It's got to have extreme amount of tension on it. You want that high pitch C when you ping the blade. The second thing you can be doing is when you make those corner turns, as that blade is coming through the wood, you have to actually pull back on it against the wood and pull the wood around, if that makes sense. Let's see if I can explain it. All right. I'm cutting up through the wood and I want to make a turn. So what I have to do is pull the blade back against the wood and spin the wood, pushing the wood the opposite direction, so to speak, to keep it from cutting, and spin it around so it'll come out and cut the other direction, if that makes sense. I tell you what you do. Watch me on Wednesday nights on Twitch at 7:30, like I told somebody here on the panel, and I'll explain it a lot better whenever I can set the camera up over on that scroll saw. But that's two things you're doing. You're either, number one, the blade's not enough tension, or you're not pulling back on the wood when you're trying to make that loop. Therefore, the blade is going to continue to cut, and it's not being stopped from cutting. It's wanting to continue to cut forward because you're not pulling back on the wood. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, Katie did confirm that she did get it.
Katie says, yes, Ken, a smart aleck remark I made on Facebook. Yeah, I read it, Katie. You don't get by without me reading and seeing stuff. I read it. Anyway, so yeah, Ken McCrory's out there. My good friend Katie Dotson. I love her to death. She's a wily woman, let me tell you. She makes some great comments over on Facebook and everything. So, and she does woodworking too. Okay,
She needs to come on some night. We need her on some night.
Yeah, I have asked her to be on, and she said she would. There was something about her camera. She needed a new camera or something. Katie, or have you ever got a new camera? Can y'all be on? Can you be on the show? We'll have you on one night. So
No peer pressure, Katie, but all your friends do it.
I'll drop a link.
yeah, yep. So okay, back to what I'll tell you what. First, let's introduce the panel, and then we'll go into what I was going to talk about. So since I got distracted from that, so. But I'm glad y'all are all out there. I really do. I appreciate y'all. I've got the chat on over here, and when I get started on this, Al and y'all are going to have to watch the chat for me because I won't be able to. But let's start on my left, and that is Mr. Chris Ahern.
Hey guys, Chris Ahern here from the old frozen cranky workshop where the temperature got to an all high of about 5 below zero today. But, you know, we're looking at the future, and tomorrow is supposed to be almost zero. So it's an up day. So, but we survived the storm, very little damage. The shop is okay, but the house needs a little repair. But we didn't get any flooding. I'm far enough in from the shore. So no videos, no projects, nothing going on right now. We're at a dead stop for the winter. So hopefully we'll be back in the spring.
Great.
Back to you, Russ.
Great. Katie says, yes, I did get a new camera. I don't know how well it works on a live show, but we can test it one evening. We'll test it. On Saturday evening, I'll get in touch with you. And before the show, we'll come in and we'll bring you on and see if it works good enough you can be on the show.
Yeah, have a log on live and we'll play with it and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll do that probably maybe next Saturday. Yeah, just plan on it next Saturday, Katie. And then next, to introduce themselves is Jim Bashirs.
Hi, Russ. I'm Jim Bashirs from the Driveway Workshop, and thanks for having me on again. Congratulations on the 4th season. That's great. A lot of these shows don't, keep lasting like that. And Santa did a great job for you last show.
Did he really?
Yeah,
right.
He was great.
Yeah, I took my wife out to dinner that night, so I'm glad he did a great job. I was worried about that. I was worried that I'd lose people watching.
No, he did a good job.
Great. Okay, and next is Mr. Al Forte.
Hi, I'm Al Forte, Odessa Woodworking on Facebook, and Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop on YouTube. And I guess that's it. Thank you for having me. And just for fun, I added Brett to the inside chat, Russ, so he should be popping in.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Let me go back here. I'm seeing a question back from says Russ, I have a lot of my students over rotate the blade when cutting a circle which makes the blade bind up.
Don't do that.
It sounds like you don't have enough tension. I mean, that's what exactly. Anytime I've ever had problems cutting any kind of a circle, it's because I didn't have enough tension. And what happens is that blade, as you're coming around, wants to bow rather than stand up straight. It wants to bow, and that's what's causing the bind. So you've got to have a lot. It cut good. You've got to have a lot of tension on these blades. I'm talking about that high C ping on there. I don't know what kind of a saw you're using also. And you need to, another thing, depending on the wood, what kind of saw you're using, high tension and fast RPMs. If it's thick wood or hardwood, as fast as RPM it'll go. Don't think you got to slow it down to prevent burning, because no, you don't. And what kind of blade are you using? If you're not using a good quality blade like the Pegasus from Bear Woods or even the Flying Dutchman, that could be another thing. A Harbor Freight mini mill and a Harbor Freight, yeah. Well, hate to tell you, but those are not very good saws to be cutting with. So,
Russie, he bought some steppers and some other equipment to. Sounds like he's going to automate that.
yeah, that's what he did. Sounds like he's going to do
really neat.
CNC also.
Yeah, I told him he should put a video out.
The saw might be okay, but definitely get a better blade.
Yeah, even anytime, and Chris makes a good point. Even if you're using a cheaper saw like a Ryobi or a Craftsman or the Harbor Freight, still you need a good quality blade will make a big difference. We had this discussion on the anatomy of we got a moth flying around in here. Anatomy of a scroll saw with Steve Good. We were talking about that. Putting a good quality blade on a cheaper saw will help tremendously. You still might have vibration and stuff, and it might not cut as good as a better saw, but it will help. So I recommend Pegasus, the saw blades from Modified Geometry from Bearwoods. And if you don't like them or can't get a hold of them, Wooden Teddy Bear sells Flying Dutchman. So those both blades are the ones that I recommend. Highly recommend Bearwoods and Pegasus blades because they're my sponsor. Okay, let's see. Al, the next to Paul. You can introduce yourself, Paul.
Hey, Paul Corliss from Frozen, Michigan. You can find me at Paul's Messy Workshop on YouTube, Paul's Messy Workshop on Instagram, and paulsmessyworkshop.com. And Russ, another thing when you're making a turn that I found out is when you get ready to make that turn, you got to make the turn. You can't play around with it and go slow. You got to, pull back on it a little bit and just make the turn and not give the blade a chance to do anything other than what you want it to do.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. You've got to, once you make that progression, I'm going to make this turn, you got to go through with it. And you just can't play around or slow down. So,
yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome. And then face that we haven't seen in a while. Oh my God. How you doing, Mr. Russ Meadows?
I'm doing a whole lot better than I was before. This is Russ Meadows from Rusty Nails Wood Shop on Facebook and Instagram mainly. And yeah, we're balmy 52 degrees right now in Southeast Texas, and I'm happy with that. I don't like y'all's temperature. Y'all's temperature is too low for me. But,
yeah, we were just talking about before we got started about people's temperatures, and I'm probably one of the warmest ones of everybody. You said 52. I'm 40. Yeah. You're warmer than I am. I'm 46 outside right now. So it's been.
I go out with my shorts and t-shirt, and not have to worry about it.
I would in the 50s. It ain't too bad, and even the 40s ain't too bad. Boy, the other morning, a couple of mornings we woke up and on the back. Well, it was lower than that when I woke up and got a cup of coffee, went back and sat on my computer, went back the second time I looked, it was 30 degrees. My son said it was 27 an hour before that on my back porch in Florida.
When you got up and you did what?
When I went and got coffee.
There you go.
When I went and got coffee. Yeah, when I went and got coffee.
Well, I don't think anybody knows about that.
We're supposed to announce that? Okay.
Or at least I didn't see it announced.
Okay, well, the drinking word tonight is coffee. So there you go. I've announced the drinking word tonight is coffee. Go back here real quick. I just seen something that it popped up from Robbie Sidney. And he said, guys and gals, it's my wife, Linda, and my 34th anniversary tomorrow. Wow, y'all guys been married 34 years. Let me tell you, congratulations. That is something else to be married 34 years nowadays. So congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah, it does.
And then last, he popped in here at the last is Brett. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Tell us where we can find you.
All right, Bears Attic Woodshop on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We all have our pages are all consistently named now. Finally, a lot of stuff going on in the shop, some upgrades, some new tools and toys. So look out for the videos for those.
Cool. Oh, guys, these guys are over here popping in temperatures right now. Dave Hart, 9 in Central Pennsylvania, 52 degrees. Let's see. Peter Karpovic. Okay, I hope I'm saying that right. -2 in upstate New York. Florence Lee, I've been watching Florence Lee. She's done some live stuff. She lives near the ocean, and man, it gets cold over there too. It was 3 yesterday in Lancaster, New York. Wow, 3 degrees. Yeah, 52 ain't cold, and neither is 46 compared to that stuff. But that's why I live here in Florida.
That's exactly right.
I don't want the cold temperatures. I live here in Florida. It's supposed to be 70 in the wintertime. That's our winters. Not 28 on my back porch or 30 on my back porch. It's supposed to be 70s.
I know I went to work. I went to work last Tuesday, and it was about 23 degrees when I was outside working, putting mail out. And boy, you talk about cold.
Yeah.
My hands hurt because my fingers are about to fall off.
All right, let's get to what we're going to talk about tonight, or what I'm going to do tonight. I wanted to show you a couple of things. Number one, to make a little word art sign that I made for my wife a few years ago. I'm going to show you how I made it. I thought that was pretty cool, and my wife loves it, and I've made a few of them. And what brought it back up was the fact that I had somebody else ask me for one. So after I saw it, I went like, hey, that'll be perfect to show everybody how to do it. And the second reason for doing this tonight is because I don't think I remember telling y'all, but since the last time when I showed y'all how to make the Christmas ornaments, I have upgraded. Now I'm using the brand new edition of Corel Draw. So I wanted to show that off tonight also. The 2017 Corel Draw is what it's called. So it's not, I was using X7 before. There had been a couple more, but they made, I wasn't going to upgrade because of the moolah here at Christmas time, but they made me an absolute offer I couldn't refuse. Corel, I love Corel Draw. It's a lot in Adobe Illustrator, a lot alike in a lot of ways. I think Adobe Illustrator is a little bit above Corel Draw because it's mostly used for commercial use and stuff, and making advertisements and stuff. But Corel Draw is also used in that, but I think it's Adobe is a little bit above it. But I love Corel Draw. I've been using it for years. And if you want to become a customer of theirs and continue to use their products, you get on their list, and then they give you these offers for upgrades as they come down, and you can get I got Corel Draw 2017 for like $100. So I mean, and that's like a $300 or $400 program. So if you bought it brand new, but I upgraded from mine, and they made me an offer, and I'm like, okay, I can't refuse this offer because it comes with some other stuff too on top of that. So I'm like, so the last time we did something, I did it in Corel Draw X7. We're going to do it in 2017 Corel Draw tonight. I'll show you that. And so that's another thing. But I thought this thing was pretty cool, and my wife loves coffee. And so we'll just go ahead, and I'll go ahead and share my screen. I think I can do this and keep y'all guys on the panel down there. We'll see how we get in there, but I'm going to screen share. I'll look over here and make sure everybody can see what I'm doing, and I'll zoom in. They're over there behind us, so that's the reason I'm waiting. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. I can see y'all underneath. Okay, so this is a picture that I downloaded from the internet 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, however many years ago when it was, when I first did I lock on myself? Because Jim Bashir's just popped up over there. I'm like, you ain't supposed to be popping up over there, Jim. Anyway, downloaded this picture from the internet, and this particular picture is one of the ones I liked, of a coffee cup. So, and that's what I used to make the sign that I made. And I'll show you the sign in just a few minutes, but let's go ahead and just study on this for a few minutes. I like this picture. I like this coffee cup. I like the way the steam was coming off the coffee and everything else. So, and so I decided to use this. Well, it's got some watermarks on it and everything, but I'm using this for like my own personal use. So no big deal. And it's not, it's not like a Star Wars character or anything that might be copyrighted or trademarked. So, but anyway, Corel Draw has, and if you'll look up here, this says 2017 Corel 64-bit Corel Draw. Yeah, I'm really proud of that I got to do this. So, or got this. So, has always had a feature where you can trace a bitmap. So what you can do is you can click on the bitmap and trace it. And if it's a clean bitmap, if it's a good bitmap, see, this one is not. This is a little bit fuzzy, so they're going to run into problems with that. The watermark's going to give problems of just several things. But I'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. And you hit up here, it says trace bitmap. Like I said, you click on the bitmap, go up here into the toolbar. This will be here. It's not there before. Once you click on the toolbar, this trace bitmap will pop up. I come down to outline trace and line art. And now it's telling me that the power trace, it's a bigger bitmap. I need to reduce the bitmap. So I just tell it, yeah, go ahead and reduce the bitmap. I don't care. Just do your thing. And then let Corel Draw come along and do its thing. It'll take just a second. And what this is going to do is going to trace this bitmap and turn it into a vector image for me. Now, I don't need the original, so I'm going to delete the original. And I'm going to tell it to remove the color from this. And I just tell it to click it and tell it OK. So now this has become a vector image. But wherefore is going to lie the problem is here. Once you, here, let me go back and show this. So once I grab this, I need to come over here and tell it to ungroup the objects, which now you can see all the nodes all over the place. And then I'm going to come back over and click on to there. Yeah. Look at the thousands of nodes that have popped up. Now I've got to try to go through and clean all this stuff up. Not only have I got, it's not a good traces because I've got the black in here. I've got all this tons of outlines on the outside. It's going to take me hours to try to clean this thing up. If this was a nice hairline coffee cup with some straight lines and without the watermark and everything else, Corel Draw does a fantastic job of tracing the bitmap for you in a lot of situations. This is one of those when you, I mean, you have to come in here and literally start highlighting areas and deleting them and try to clean this thing up. And I'm just not coming here. You'd have to come in here and try to highlight this and tell it delete. Yeah, this is just going to take way too long. So, nah, I ain't going to do that. So let me go over here and see if I can backspace through this enough. Backspace, backspace, backspace. If not, no big deal. What I can do is just go over here and hit delete. And I can just tell it file, import, and bring this back in. If you, once you got it brought in, it's giving me this little arrow here asking me basically where I want to put it. All you have to do is hit enter and it will put it in the center of the page for you. So if I had clicked over here, it would have put it over here. If I had clicked over here, it would have put it over here. Hit enter and it puts it in the center of the page. So there you have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this. I'm going to show you how to trace it. I'm not going to trace through every little tiny piece of this tonight because we'll be here for quite some time if I do that. But what I am going to do is trace enough of it so you'll get the idea of what I'm doing, and then I'll show you what I've traced afterwards. So I come over here to the freehand tool, but I want to change this. I want to change this to, why come it's not letting me change it? There we go. I don't know if it's this a computer or this mouse that I'm having fits with tonight. I don't know what in the world's going on. I'm on a laptop that I use here in the shop and use for this show. So sometimes
Live. It's
huh?
live.
Yeah, and it's live. Yeah. Okay. So I've got my pen tool. So I'm going to start down here. Well, when I start tracing this, okay, two things. I want to change a couple of things. Number one, I want the line yellow. So I come over here and right click on yellow so I can see the line. And I wanted a hairline line. So I change this up here to hairline. So it's really nice and thin. So we're just going to come around and I'm doing the outside of the coffee cup. I don't want the inside. I don't want anything else other than the outside of the coffee cup. Now, I don't like the way this smoke. I mean, I love the steam, the way it's coming off, but and I'll show you what I'm talking about later on. But I don't want to trace around it. I want to use it as something else separate. And I did it when I did it on the other one that I made. It worked out a lot better. So I'm just going to do the coffee cup. Come on down around here.
Are you going to pull those lines in and out as the case may be when you get through?
Just
tracing it?
Just watch.
Ah.
Okay. So now I come up here. Once I've traced all this thing out, I come up here and do my snap or shape tool. I'm sorry. Let me put my glasses on so I can see things. All right. I come up here to my shape tool. Yes.
Your magnifying glass?
No, not my magnifying glass, my regular glasses. This is the
glass in it. Yeah.
Shape tool. And so I'm going to select my shape tool. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to highlight. Oh, this is one of the things I want to show y'all. You can choose in the new Corel the size of your nodes, and you can make them a lot larger. And you weren't able to do that in the ones previous. But this one, you can choose them and make them a lot larger, which is a lot nicer to see when they're a lot. Look how big they show up. They didn't do that before.
So it's easier to pick your nodes that way then.
Yeah, it's easier to pick your nodes. Trust me. And I love picking nodes. So I select all my nodes in this whole thing, and I come up here to this right here, and I'm going to tell it convert these nodes and these line segments to a curve. Now, what that allows me to do is come down here, and I can grab a hold of this line segment. Notice when I come over the line segment, the squirrely little line lets me get a hold of that line and adjust that line. I think it's this mouse. This mouse is just a lot more sensitive than the one that I have in my other computer. I know it's a cheaper mouse, but it just... Now, the reason I keep moving in and out is because to get I can grab, what you do is you hold your, I have a roller on this. If I hold my roller down in the center, it changes that to a hand, and I'm allowed to come over here and move this around. And just push this out.
You're doing it the same way I was just asking you about pushing them in and out.
Exactly.
It's different than I thought, because when you first said you go over to your snap tool, I thought, well, hell, it's going to snap it and it's going to do it automatically.
Nope.
I got tickled when I heard that.
It's not snap, it's shape.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, you have to still do this.
Now, those are called nodes in Corel because they're called handles. Like in the
no, these are called nodes. Here's the handles. Once you click on a node, here's your handle.
Okay. Maybe I'm going backwards for fusion then too.
Yeah. So you can change that. See how I can move that with the handles. There's one handle on each side, and there's different kinds of nodes. There's a cuspid node, which is up here, which it treats each side independently. So if you'll notice that if I'm moving this, the other side doesn't move. And the other type, don't even remember the other type of node, but if it's like that, then here, I'll just change it. We'll change it over to smooth that node. So when I move this, see, the other side moves. So I don't like that. I like the cuspid. So, but I'll show you a little trick. And I just remove the node. All right. So anyway, I'm going around here. I'm going to make this a little bit smooth. Make that. Whoop.
Ah.
Yep, somehow these got changed. So no big deal. I just highlight these nodes, come up here and change them to the cusp node. And now I don't have to worry about it. That, I don't like that little hump there, so I'm going to leave that kind of straight. And this is the design. It means your design. You don't have to follow everything just as perfect That's the way it is. Now, what I want to do on this is I don't like all this crap down here. I want to try to make this bottom of this coffee cup rounded, but I want some of that black left in there. So what I'm going to do is just drag this down to the center. And once I get it down there, I'm going to actually add a node. Then I'm going to come in here and straighten this. See how this line is, how thick this line is? I want to continue that kind of thickness on the bottom of this coffee cup. And I want to pull this around like so. I can change these all later. Okay, so I got that done. So let's go over here and highlight this. And let's turn it into a gray so we can see. And there we have, yep, pretty well got our coffee cup outline. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Just hit Control-Z. Now we need to come in here. I want to make the handle so we can see the handle. Go back to my pen tool. Start right here in this corner. Work my way around. Why didn't that select that? I just installed, another thing I did too is just install this 2017 on this computer. For those of you who do not know, when you get Corel Draw, I believe you can install it up to 3 computers that you own. So I have it on my main bad computer, the Alienware, at my desk. I got a
Russell later.
Yeah, and I've installed it on this laptop here now. So, all right, we're going to do the same thing. Highlight all those nodes. Go up here and convert to curves. Come back. Oop, I did something wrong here. I want these nodes, and I'm talking and trying to do this at the same time. I want these on the outside. I want this opening large. No big deal. I'll just move them to the outside. Now, if you'll notice when I highlight over this line, this turns into a little squiggly. I don't know the correct word talk about that, but that means that I'm now capable of, I don't know the technical term. I just know it is. It tells me, guess what? You can move that line.
I think squiggly close enough.
Yeah, it's a little squiggly thing right there. It's just
telling me proper nomenclature.
I bet if we looked it up, it would say squiggly.
I love you guys.
Polyline, maybe?
Poly squiggly?
Poly squiggly? Okay. Yeah. All right, we got that part done. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to highlight that part. I'm going to hold down my Shift key and select this part over here. And all right, you ask why we do this. Let me explain to you why we're going to do this. Because if I come in here right now and I change this to gray, it's going to make all that gray, including inside that. Okay? It's seeing this as one whole solid object in the back. And all I've done is added another object on top of the object in the back. The gray is the back. Okay? This is just sitting on top of it, laying there. By coming in here and clicking on this, and then holding down my Shift key and clicking on this and doing the back minus front. Okay, why didn't I do it? Try this again. I have no clue as to why this is not doing this. Let me go out here. Click here. Click here. Only live. Well, I'll be.
Yeah, Katie's saying, yeah, because you're live, of course.
Here, let's do it again then. Must have had something and I did. Because it ain't supposed to work that way.
Could one of them still be open a little bit?
Yeah, it might have been. That's the reason I'm going to go back and do it again. Change this to yellow so I can see.
a polyline is all the points all the way around and closed. So it becomes kind of like an object, I guess. I don't know if that's the actual term either, but
if I had left one of those open, if I did not get it, even though it looked as if it was closed, that could have been the cause of it. It has to be a closed vector, so to speak.
yes.
And when I went and moved them, remember when I did the inside the first time, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do the inside. I want to do the outside. That's close enough. All right, now let's try this. Boom, shift, boom, back minus front.
Yeah.
Now let's see if it does it. All right.
Cool.
It didn't do it.
It didn't.
No, it's supposed to cut this out.
Oh, I got you. I totally understand what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it's supposed to cookie cutter this piece out from this. Okay. I have no clue as to why this is not doing this and why it's giving me such a hassle.
I had fits with it in VCarve, and then I went and used another program anyway for the CNC I was using, and it worked in that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to start all over.
Which one were you using, Al?
It was hold on, I'll tell you. I want to say carbonite, but that's not right. Carbide Create. Since I use a
yeah, Shapeoko stuff. Yeah, that's what I've got. Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm just going to go through, and I've done this, and I have a piece to show you that's a lot better than this. So I'm just going to haphazardly go through this so you can see what I'm kind of doing.
Yeah, Russ, just say coffee like 5 different times or something like that.
Coffee.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because we're getting parched out here.
Okay, so I'm having a lot of problems with this coffee cup.
Look at Russ go, boy.
Russ, we had kind of a comment / question a little while ago. When you first loaded that bitmap in, and you were trying to convert it over to a line drawing or whatever, I know there's a command in Inkscape that's can let you just pick how many colors you convert it to. So it would take a lot of that stuff like
yes,
mark and stuff like that. In Inkscape, when we're doing this stuff to convert these over to using for a CNC or whatever, we'll just like have it keep 2 colors and that's it, black and white. Then you don't get as many handles or nodes that get
right.
converted.
Yeah, I have gotten so proficient, unless it's a real. Why am I doing this? Getting this. I'm trying to talk to y'all and do this at the same time. Control Z. I've gotten so proficient at being able to trace these things and so quick at it that most of the time I don't even worry about the auto trace anymore. I just do them.
Yeah, no, this looks easier to use than Inkscape.
Yeah. So, all right. So we got that done. Boom. Now we're going to try this one more time. I'm going to come in and I'm going to trace this. And like I said, guys, I'm not spending a lot of time. Make sure I get that node. Yep, I got it closed on this. So I can show you what I've done. Oops. Automatically messing up here. Change it. Convert to curves. Push these out. And I do know a lot of it is this mouse that I'm messing with. This thing is like a cheapo mouse, not compared to my nice mouse inside the house. Nice mouse inside the house.
There's a poet and you don't know it.
All right, so boom. I like that. Shift. I like this. Go back minus front. And it still is not doing it. I have no clue why that is not doing that. This is about the darndest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, don't feel bad, because like I'm saying, I've had several different programs that I've used, and it's like, why isn't it working? And sometimes I've thought, well, maybe it's because I'm not selecting the whole
Yeah, we can try that. I can you select it like this.
Yeah.
See, that should do a cookie cutter. So when I do this, it's not even doing that.
And I don't know. Don't you have to select 2 pieces so that it knows what 2 pieces, and then that way it'll subtract them or add them or whatever, you know?
Yeah, you hit highlight.
Yeah. I see them.
Yeah, highlight this.
Yep.
Highlight this.
But the other one went away, Russ.
You know what?
Or is it?
Gee whiz. And I got my glasses on.
Yeah, I do see it still there though.
No. I'm hitting the wrong dead bird.
Oh.
I'm hitting the wrong button. This is weld.
Oh, God, he went to dad burn. That means something really bad happened.
It's supposed to be this button, back minus front. What a dumb.
Russ, stop looking for the magnifying glass. Go get your glasses.
I've got them on. That's what's the problem.
Let's get the magnifying glass.
And if it doesn't use those words,
enlarge the screen. Maybe that'll help.
Jeez. Okay. I was hitting the wrong button. It should have worked from the beginning. Okay. Now when you there. All right. Let's do this again. Control Z. Control Z. Okay. Remember what I said before. You've got the background, which is the gray. You just put an object on top of that. So it's just laying there. What I want to do is cut this out of the background. So therefore I highlight that, hit shift, highlight that, and hit this button, which
What is the name of that button?
Back minus front.
Back minus front.
And what it does, it's like a cookie cutter. It just cuts that area out of this back piece like a cookie cutter. Jeez, how dumb it. Never mind.
It happens to the best of us.
Yes. Brain farts are an anomaly.
So on this coffee cup, I need a beer.
Drink up, folks. He said coffee again.
Anyway, so now let's go back and make this thing clear. Okay, so I want to do a few more of these other things that are in here. I'm not going to worry about the smoke at this point, but I want to do a few more of these other things in here. And they're basically the same way. Let's take a couple of easy ones that I can do. So I start here, come around. I like making them yellow so I can see a little bit better against the black. Now that I don't feel like an idiot and know what I'm doing. Convert. Go up here.
Says, I love you. That's the kind of stuff that happens to me.
Yeah.
Job well done. Me too.
I mean, you feel like you're sitting here doing this and you've been pushing the wrong button the whole time. You feel like the biggest dumb whatever.
Welcome to my world.
Well, and it's not, and I'm proficient at this. Let me tell you, I've used Corel Draw for years. I think I started with 2 or 3. So I should know what I'm doing. That's got to be changed to a cuspid node. See up here, it's wanting to do that. So I change it to a cuspid node.
In all fairness, Russ, I bet it's because they changed it around a little bit and it's not the same interface. Go with that one. Go with that one.
All right. So I've got this. So I highlight this, hold down the shift key, highlight this in the background, and hit back minus front. And boom, it cookie cuts that out. Okay. And you can make the red lines around it. All right. So I continue working on this. I guess I've wasted enough time, people's time and everything, but I continue to work on this and take enough out of these that you end up with Control C.
Cut.
Yeah, we're going to delete all this. Control V.
Paste.
Yep. You end up with, and hold on, let me go over here and get the original mug so we can compare them. That's what you end up with.
A lot
Now
of
that's a
coffee
scroll.
files.
That's a scrollable coffee mug right there. That's a scrollable coffee mug. See, I've used this here. I didn't like the way this came in here. So I separated it and put some separation in there. I used this piece up here. I used this as the center. I left that little star thing out at the top. I kept this in the handle. I kept that. I kept that. Okay. And there was a reason that I did it this way, is because when I first, and if you'll notice, this piece here on the mug, I have moved over toward the handle more to give me an opening in here, a bigger opening in here. So these are just all design changes, things that I have done afterwards. So that's all that is. But now you can see what I have gotten from there. Okay. Now the second thing is I wanted this steam. We'll go ahead and do that real quick because I can do that without any problem. The steam coming off. But I wanted the steam to be separate. So all I did was come up here, and I didn't want the steam to come into the coffee or anything. Just this is just a preference, is the way I wanted it. When I was designing this.
I can't get over how far apart you can put those nodes and then still be able to,
Because I'm good.
you know, pull them in. Well, we know that, Russ. I'm just saying, you know, you do that in Fusion or something like that, and it's really difficult to pull the handles off of the sides of the nodes to get that to work quite right.
Now watch how easy this is. That's the reason I like Corel Draw. It's this mouse I'm having problems with. Next time I'll bring my mouse from my computer from the inside, because I can tell it's glitchy. When I go to move, sometimes this stuff will jump, and it doesn't do that when I'm on my mouse on the inside on the other computer. It's causing me to change these things to what? Here, I know how to do this. I just delete the node and add another node in here, and then now move it. Want to give me problems? You're out of here. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to get another mouse when I do this. Okay. So anyway, so boom. There's my steam. Boom. Take my steam. And I can put it over here on the coffee cup like this. I like that a lot better. Make this a little bit more narrower right there. And then I can grab a hold of both of these and tell it to, this is the button I was using before that to weld it, and boom, there's my steam on the coffee cup. So I like that better. Okay, so now we've got the coffee. Now I want a little a plaque, so to speak, to put it on. Or the coffee cup, I should say. So I want to make me a bar like this. A rectangle, I should say. Bring it down here onto the coffee cup. Now, the thing about this, since this is a vector up here, this is still totally adjustable. I can bring this down a little bit more into my bar. Now, I don't have to worry about this. This is not even going to... yes, Al. That's fine.
Okay, I'm trying to...
Yeah, you could have asked me that.
Okay, well, all right.
But anyway...
Sorry.
That's all right. So anyway, I made this rectangle, and I can change this rectangle anytime, but just to show you real quick, and I don't want it as a corner. I want to do a round over on it. So if once I select the rectangle right here, right, and have it selected, up here is what I can do with the corners of this rectangle. You have a round corner, have a scallop corner, and you have a chamfered corner. These are the 4 corners. You see 4 sets of zeros, right? All right, all I got to do is hit, oh, they're locked. Let me take this back. .00. Okay. See this little mechanism in the middle? This is a lock. If I change one, all 4 of them is going to change at the same time. I unlock that. Now I can take this upper corner up here and watch this down here. Take it to probably about a 15. Let's go on up to 20.2. Okay. Now I can raise this one on up here, which is this corner over here. There we go. Okay, there's my bar. Now, I believe I got the coffee cup about set where I want it. All right, over here on your ruler bars, you can bring over, and all I did was click into the ruler, hold down that, and I can bring out just as many of these. I can't even think of the name of them right now.
A guideline?
Yes, guideline. Thank you. I'm still frustrated over being stupid from before. Okay, so I can use this as a guideline here and put this on the edge so I can keep the edge of the end of the base of this with that. See? So now the base of this is with the edge of this. Okay, and this is actually my base for what I'm doing. Now to do this, you just highlight it red, hit delete, and they disappear. So now I've got my coffee cup. I've got it sitting on my little base to make my word art. So I grab both of these and I hit weld. Okay, so there's my coffee cup. Now, hold on, let me turn around here and look at something. Okay. Let's start off with the first word. That is going to be all, and I make everything all caps. Worky.
Should have said coffee.
Well, that's it's going to go in there, yes. I like, and I don't think it's on here. It's not. I haven't downloaded into this.
I'm thirsty. Say the word.
Yes, it is Cooper Black. It's in there. Now, if I decide, all right, I look at this and go like, you know what? This part down here, it's not as long as I would have liked to have had it. And I can judge this by, I like to make everything on one sheet of paper, right? Okay, so let's start off here. This is in portrait mode, but I want landscape mode for my workout. Then that'll give me a better idea since I'm making this pattern this way. So all you see up here, this has got it in portrait, and I can change this, which changes my page to landscape. So that just helps me be able to tell when I've got this thing in the center of the paper or in the paper. So I haven't reached the max of 11.5 inches. And also, you always should keep about 1/4 of an inch from the edges. You can do that by coming up here to view and do guidelines or page and do printable area. And if it was the other way, Corel will put that 1/4 of an inch guideline. In other words, if I had the page and portrait, see how it keeps the 1/4 of an inch guideline to show you. But it won't do it for some reason. I think that's the most stupidest thing, why it will not do it in landscape mode. So you need to keep it about 1/4 of an inch. That looks about 1/4 of an inch. But look how much room I've got here. So, but you say to yourself, I've already made it and I like the size it is. Oh, all you've got to do, Montraire, is come over here, take your little shape button, grab these 3 nodes, hit your right arrow, and just bring that sucker right on over without changing anything else in the pattern.
Now, there's a lot of commands that you can use the arrow keys
Yep.
or I should say, pull it. Yeah, that is a really nice feature.
Yep. See, now I can make this a little bit bigger. I still want to keep it on the edge. Let me go over here and get a guide bar because I don't want to go past the edge.
Russ, is it called a guide bar? I know that some
I don't remember the guide bar, or something.
Well, I'm just saying that they call things differently in different programs, and I know guideline is the way that it's for these programs.
Okay, so I got the worky in here, and I can stretch it up a little bit. I don't want to go too far. You go way up here, it looks odd. You want to keep it within reason so it looks kind of like good, right? So, and also I can skew these, and what I mean by skewing the letters, get them closer together. And I like to do that on something like this. Now, all I have to do is hit the shape tool, come down here to the end, and you'll see this arrow-looking thing at the end of the words. You can either pull it in, which crunches them up, which I'll use that for a little bit and get them in just a little bit closer together. But I like to keep the definition of the words a little bit.
How often do you take something that's got a tail on it like these letters do, and then just bleed the tails together like you have here for the R, K, and the E?
How often do I do that?
Yeah, do you do that a lot, or is it just something you kind of do it when you have to? Or
I do it. Only reason I'm doing it on this, okay, I'm going to add another word on. I'm going to add coffee, but here, let's do it right now. Let me show you why I'm doing that.
Drink up, people.
Yep.
We heard.
Yep, coffee.
Mm.
Cooper Black. Okay.
Chris got an O in there.
All right,
Run out of beer before we're done.
I'm going to add this coffee to the top up here.
Chris?
Killing me.
And so, therefore, I'm going. It can't hang out here. It's got to come on top of these words. So, therefore, you need to bring it somewhat together to support itself. This will break off. This F sticking out like this with no other support. This E, these pieces will break off very, very easily. So, if I crunch this top one without crunching the bottom, it's going to look funny. See what I'm saying?
yeah, I do. Thanks.
Okay, so therefore, I need to crunch this on the bottom, and I can do it, like I said, 2 ways. I can crunch them so far, bring them in like this, but you see, I'm starting to push the envelope of these are getting so muddled, but yet the O is still, you see, in order to get them really where the O is even in, look how far I got to push them in. Well, I've lost a lot of definition in like this E right here. So here's what I can do is I can push them in to start with until they just touch where I like that. And then I can come over here with these and my shape tool with this node. I just click on the node and then I can actually move the individual O over. I can move the individual R over, the K over. See, I can give it a little bit of space in there. I can actually take this E and, well, that's getting close. There we go, but they're still touching. Okay. Now, this is one solid object still, so I can resize it more. But remember, even though I'm resizing it, it's keeping the definitions of the letters together so I can bring it back out and make it a little bit bigger. So now I want to add my coffee on top.
I think I'm running solo here.
You're what?
Yeah.
Nobody else is drinking with you?
I know
got
I'm
you,
drinking
Chris.
coffee and
I was sitting there paying
water and
I'm just actually paying attention to what Russ is doing.
Okay, so I'll move the O over. I want the O to touch on the top and the bottom, so I'll move it over a little bit. Move the F over just a little bit. F over a little bit, E over by itself a little bit, and the E over by itself just a little bit. And then I'm going to expand these out now. And I can also, oops. Yeah, see, it's this mouse. It won't let me get precise. It just jumps all over the place. Mouse, you're going to be out of here. And I made this a little taller, so let me make it a little bit. Now, how you can find out if it's the same size is, I click on this, come up here. This tells me the Cooper Black is 144.709. Okay, let's just make this one so they're both identical, 144. Hit enter. Now, that changed the size of this to 144. Come up here, hit this. This is 141.883. 144, hit enter. That made them both basically the same size. Even though they don't look like it, they made them both the same size. And I am going to shrink this down just a little bit to get back inside this line right here. Jeez, this mouse is driving me crazy. You believe in that? Look at that. Okay, that's as close as it's going to get. Now I want to bring these down together just so that everything's touching, so that support between all of them, right? I want to take these two as a group and move them down, make sure all this, see that K is not below the line. So I'm going to use my arrow key and drop it a little bit below the line. Got all that. The W isn't quite, let me unhighlight this worky, isn't quite over there onto the coffee cup. It doesn't have to be, but if I might as well make it if the.
Yeah, I was going to suggest if that much stuff is touching already, would that be that big a deal?
No, it wouldn't have. I could have left it, but if the C's touching, why not make the W touch?
Oh, I know, I understand, but just to define it, that's all.
It's whatever you as the designer want to do at this point. Yes. Right. By leaving this W over here like this, it would have made absolutely no difference. Yeah. It's supported at the bottom. It's supported by the C at the top, and the C is touching the coffee cup, so it would not have made a difference.
Right. At the same time, the bottom of the C, I would have separated, put a gap between that and the O. And I'm pointing it like you can see me. So
No. I wouldn't put, no, you want these, you don't want these letters to kind of be standing out there alone. You want them to have them support each other. They make it a lot more solid.
No, sure, but I would have left the top to support it. I would have put a little gap at the bottom.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I see. You're
just
talking about
define the letter a bit. That's all.
Yeah, you're talking about down here.
Right, exactly.
Yes. Okay.
But that's the design in me. I would have wanted to define it more.
Yeah. And if, it's all the designer preference. Okay.
Right.
So we got this done. We still got everybody's attention out there. Is everybody out there?
Looks like it.
Yes.
All right. So now I can do one of two things. I can grab a hold of this, hit shift, hit my coffee cup, and hit weld, and grab a hold of this, hit shift, hit coffee cup, and hit weld, and boom. There we have a total coffee workie. And you're like, well, that don't make sense. You're right. We got to add something to it. Now, you see this little old tiny hole? You have two choices to make here. You can either decide if it's going to be big enough for a bit to get in and for you to cut it. And if it's not, you can enlarge it a little bit. Nobody in the world will ever know that you did this.
All right.
There's a node right here. Oops. There's a node right here. I'm just going to delete that node and try to straighten this thing out. Yeah, nobody's going to know that, look down and go, oh, you made that. I always make it a little bit bigger to make it easier on me. Or, guess what? You could just go delete, not even have it there. I like it there, so I'm going to leave it. You can come in here and check any of these. You got this one. Yeah, that one is way too small. Let's just see what it looks like when I enlarge it up some. If they're really, really small and I mess with them a little bit and say, really, that don't look good, then I'll, excuse me, people, it's just this mouse. I never noticed it having this much trouble. That looks pretty good. That's definitely out of here. That one I will definitely try to open up a little bit. I'll come in here, delete that node, open this space up a little bit. You get my point. Go through and clean it up and make it look good. That looks pretty good size. So there you have that part. Now we are lacking one thing, and that is remember this space that I told you that I was reserving over here?
Yep.
I reserved it for no coffee? No. So I can hit N, shift my coffee cup, and hit back minus front. Oops. In.
I gotta get more coffee. Sorry. I'll be back.
And there you have it. And this is a floater in here naturally. Let me show you how I can just real quick take care of that. I can come in here with my pen tool and I can go boom, 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 boom. I can click on that, hit my coffee cup and hit weld. Click on that, hit my shift, hit the coffee cup, hit weld, and that is no longer a floater. And there you have it.
Russ, when you're cutting out, or when you put those tabs in for floaters, is there a spot on a letter or something like that that aesthetically is better to put those tabs in? Than
Yes, there is. For instance, if I take an R, you remember the old, here, I'll show you. Let's do this R. And then let's
because I mean the old looks like a Duresta sign now, you know.
Right.
That thing where you spray paint, and I'm not knocking it or anything. I'm just using it for an example.
Well, that's what I'm just what I'm showing.
Like it looks like a spray painted over stencil.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there is in here. If you look, there is a stencil font.
Oh, stencil font. Oh yeah, I got it loaded on the PC.
Yeah, MNOPQRS stencil. That's where your R would normally look with it as a stencil font. Okay, I don't like that look. So what I do when I change it to the Cooper Black. What I would do is I would just come in here
and cut it right down there, right?
Yeah, just cut it right.
Cut the bottom one out there. Yeah, there you go.
I just cut it like right there. I think I have to use, nope, Control Z, that is back minus front. There you go. I like that look a lot better. And then you go like, well, you messed up on here. Yeah, all you got to do is click on it, come in here, delete this node, delete those nodes, and it straightened it right up. See, I like that a lot better than that. You can pretty much make any font scrollable. You can pretty much make any font scrollable. But this is the one that I did today. And then if you'll notice, this is the original, some of the original art. See how I did the steam? These are the different pages that I saved when I was working with the original. See how I experimented with the where to put the no?
Yep.
So this was the original back in the day when I made it. And then this is the one that we made today. No coffee, no working. Any questions before I close this out? Any questions from anybody over there in the chat before I close this out?
Yeah, I'm looking through here. I do not see any.
Okay, so
Most of the stuff in the chat is trying to help Becky get into the feed here.
Now, I'll throw the obvious question in. At this point, you print it out and glue it to the wood.
yep, and
There you go.
that's what it looks like.
Nice.
That came out really good.
Cool.
Yep, no, this is your little base that you put on it. This is the original. If you'll look at this, that line that I put underneath the original, that's to hold everything together. And you see how rounded over these are rounded over. Then once you get this part cut out, you can make your base separate. Oops, gotta get it. Make your base separate and glue this part to the base. I glued it and then I put a few nails in it to make sure it stayed on.
Nice.
This thing is, I don't know how many years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that. I made this for my wife. So, and that's what it looks like, the finished product. So
Sweet beans.
yep. She loves her coffee.
As we've seen.
Yep, she loves her coffee. So that's just, I mean, you can make a word art, see an object, see what I mean? I was wearing my glasses. It was my dumb butt that was clicking the wrong button for some reason. But you can see an object. Like I saw that coffee cup. I was sitting there, and I know she loves coffee, and we were talking about that one day. I said, you don't do nothing before in the morning without your coffee. And one thing led to another, and I went like, yeah, no coffee, you ain't doing nothing. No coffee, no worky. No coffee, no worky. Hey, that sounds pretty cool. So I went on the internet, searched for a coffee cup, found that one that I liked, and you can use any. I just showed you how to do it. If you say, I don't like the way that coffee cup looks, I want the little other kind, go through and find your own coffee cup. You can change it. I just showed you how to do it. You can change it up and put no coffee, no working on another type of cup. This is the one that I chose that I liked. And the reason I chose it is because it gave me enough space in here to add the NO in that coffee cup.
And for people that do craft shows or Etsy or something like that, that looks like a cool thing that somebody would buy and put in the office right next to
I have thought many times.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the one you buy for your boss. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, to hang up there in the kitchen, right above, right next to the one that says, no pay, no drink.
Exactly.
So it says your mother doesn't work here. Clean up after yourself.
Yeah, all those really good ones like that.
Real quick, since we're saying that, let me go back. Let me screen share real quick. And when I didn't close this out, and I'm glad I didn't now that you said that. You could very easily go back and let me do it real quick. I'll show you. Don't try this at home.
Now I'm worried.
Yeah, me too.
Well, no, I'm just showing you this for purposes because I don't have one that has the cup without this. So I'm just showing you this. Okay. You could real easily, if that cup had left the bottom on it, make that to where it could sit on a wall, just like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, put it on a plaque or something like that.
Yep. You could take the W, that if you'd have moved the W over more to where it was locked into the coffee cup, where that was almost closed up except for this part down here, that right there could be hung on the wall.
Yep.
If I took
Hey, Russ, this is just a little bit off the topic of this, but say you wanted that longer than 11 inches. In a program like Inkscape or Corel Draw, how do you get that to be longer than 11 inches?
Well, okay. If you increase the length of it this way, 11 inches more, it's got to increase the length height-wise in order to make it. I mean, I can make it longer than 11 inches by doing that.
But will it print out on 2 pieces of paper then?
Yes. Oh, yes.
I thought when in Inkscape and Corel Draw, it would only print what's on that piece of paper.
Oh, no, Montreur. Here.
No.
Blow this thing up.
All right.
All right, now I want to print. Now I don't do this as often, so bear with me. Let me get glasses back on. You go up here and hit File, and then you hit Print Preview.
Jim Dockrell says, get legal size paper, Paul.
Yeah.
I have it
11 by 17. Yeah.
There's always that guy. It's usually me.
Yeah, and you're right, Robbie, Sydney. If it's scrollable, it is laserable.
And then you hit, I think it's settings. Yes, go to settings, and then you go to layout, and then you can go, see this little thing right here? It says print tiled pages.
Good old tiling.
And then
it'll tile on however many pages.
tile marks, and you can tell it to give it a little bit of an overlap. And you hit apply, and boom.
Oh, okay.
That's going to take you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages to print that.
Unless you moved it down to the corner.
Yeah, if you moved it down, you could move it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
For those of us people who aren't real woodworkers, you may be able to modify that a little bit, put it on a CD.
But the point was made out there, I think, that a laser printer will print it, and also a laser will etch it also.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And I mean, this stuff moves or transfers over to different.
Corel Draw will actually save. All right, so file, and you hit the save as. This is all. Oops, wrong one. Everything that a Corel Draw will save into, it'll save it as a PDF, Adobe Illustrator file. It will save it as a DWG AutoCAD.
Does it do SVG?
Yeah. Yeah, SVG's on there too.
Yeah, it'll change it into an SVG.
Yeah.
So all this stuff is available for you to save out of Corel Draw. A gem file. What the heck that is, I've never known. No.
I don't know what any of them are.
One other thing that's out there in the woodworking community is that Matthias Wendell has that big print program. So
Yes.
if you have something that's like in a PDF file or whatever, you can load it into his big print program and then blow it up however large you want it. And it does the same thing that Corel just did there.
Yeah. Yeah. Robbie Sidney said if it's scrollable, it's laserable. Yes, it is.
There you go. Yep.
But my point was earlier. Here, let me see if I could clean this up a little bit and do it just bide with me. Oh, cancel. Just bide with me 1 second. Let's see if I come along here. Do here. Over here.
Now it's moving too fast.
Yeah. I'll if I do something like this again, I'm bringing my mouse from the inside. Because it's a nice mouse. It works great, except I noticed when I'm trying to do stuff like this. Now we'll come back and.
Though, Russ, I think we'd like to see more things like this from you. So,
okay,
I pull the mouse out.
Shift, and then do back minus front. Yeah, that looks a little bit better.
There you go.
Yeah, and see, so now you could hang this on the wall. You just made a wall hanging thing. And you would do that in the design change back in here before I locked everything down. See, like right here, I would actually just not use that and then bring the coffee over. You see, I save things in multiple pages. Like this is the end product. You can save. There's an infinity amount of pages you can save. So, and what I do is I'll get to a certain point, like this, for instance, and I'll go, okay, I'm going to save this page, or actually I'll duplicate the page. I won't save it. I'll just say, like right here where I'm at right now, I'll go right click, duplicate page, copy the layers and its contents. So now I have 2 of these. Now I'll go back to number 7 and I'll work on number 7, and number 8 sits there. But what happens if I screw up 7 so bad that I can't use it anymore? I just delete 7. I'm back to page 7, which was page 8, and I can do it again.
Okay.
Boy, that's a really powerful feature. Yeah, Fusion 360 has a thing called a timeline on it, and you can just pull yourself back through the timeline to go, you know, wherever, but it's the same thing as this page thing. But that's
I just do it. I'll get to a stage in the production. See how I've got the no and the stuff there. I'll get to a stage in production and just duplicate the page without going any further. That way, like I said, if I make a change and it screws up, and I try to back out of it, and if I go to the point where I'm getting frustrated and going like, all right, I just delete the page and go back to my other one.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you can have an infinity amount of pages there for you to carry your steps in, and it works out really, really good. I love Corel Draw. I'm starting to get used to Adobe Illustrator. It's a lot like Corel Draw. It just got a lot more stuff to it. But as far as for designing patterns for a woodworker and what we're doing as far as scrolling and lasering, Corel Draw will do everything you want it to do, and it's a lot cheaper than Adobe. And here's the thing. Wait till now that 2017 is coming out and go back and find a version of the older version, like an X6 or X7 of Corel, and buy that because it'll be dirt cheap, and install it on your computer. Learn to use it for a while. If you're wanting to get started, this is my suggestion. Use it for a while, get used to it, and then you can upgrade to the newest version, and it'll cost a heck of a lot less to upgrade than it will to go out and buy the 2017 Corel Draw.
Is the upgrade really worth it though, or did
change?
There's so much stuff in it for something like what we would use it for that it's worth buying the upgrade.
Number one, the node thing, just the node thing alone, where you can make the nodes bigger. I mean, that just like blew me away because you can actually see them now. Before, I used to have I've got a 40-inch monitor on my desk, and so I got them really blown up on my desk so I can see them. But now there's new ones. I'm like, holy crap! They're like a pencil size, eraser size nodes on my laptop or on my monitor on my desktop. So I really love that Alienware. That is a fantastic computer.
Well, I'll tell you, I've got a 32-inch monitor and a 20. What's this other one I've got? YouTube. 24-inch monitor, and it's like night and day difference. I mean, you get so used to these bigger ones that.
Yeah, and I'm using this laptop, which is, I mean, this is a big screen laptop. I think this is a 17-inch laptop screen, but still, I have to have my glasses. It gets so. And y'all weren't on here when I was on here before. I was doing like this to be able to see it. But all right, well, I hope you took something away. I love Corel Draw. And if you have kids in your family, or have or in college, or have them in high school, you can get the student version of Corel Draw and use that also. That's a lot cheaper than the student home version. Though doesn't do everything that the real true version. But like I said, if you can't afford the older work, I will tell you this much. It's got more. The newer version is better, and it's got some things that I like better, which they've made some changes in. But the X7 will work as good and do everything I just did tonight. You don't need the new version to do what I did tonight. This was created 5 years ago on like X3 or X4 or whatever it was at the time when I created it. So I created it back then with an older version. So you don't need the newer version to do what I just did. So buy an older version. Use it for a while, save up your money, and then do the upgrade rather than buying the newer version and spending all that cash, and you'll save a lot of money. So,
good plan.
Yep, that's what I would do. I'm going to tell you, if you ever start, and Inkscape's good, and I'm not putting Inkscape down. Before I started some of the stuff around here I've got in my shop that I did. There's some stuff up over there that me and my son did that I created in Inkscape before I ever got Corel Draw. It's just that once you've the difference between Corel and Inkscape is like the difference between driving a Volkswagen and driving a Mercedes-Benz. The Volkswagen will get you there, and it gets good gas mileage, and it's a great vehicle. But if you want the women to like you, wouldn't you rather have the Mercedes?
I think Inkscape and Corel, I mean, I'm watching you use Corel now, and I like Corel a lot because it seems like it's easier to use.
It's easy.
CNC guys and stuff, all we want to take, and especially if it's a bitmap, because a bitmap, it's either there or it's not a multicolor picture. We pull it into Inkscape, we convert it to 2 colors, we trace the bitmap, we turn it into an SVG, and we're gone with it. We don't do anything else really except maybe play around a little bit in it. But with Corel, it seems like you can do just so much more stuff with it. Yep. It's so much easier to do, you know. It is.
It's a. I'll get back to that real quick. Becky's Texas Woodshop says, "Thanks for being friends, Cranky Woodshop. Sorry, I'm not up on your name. His name is Chris Ahern. He's on the panel. That's who made friends with you, Becky's Texas Woodshop.
Drink up, Chris. Kind.
Yep, this guy right here. This guy right here just became your friend over there. That's old Cranky Workshop.
Chris, lots of love going out there.
Yep. Okay, back to what you were talking about, Jim. Yes, several different things. It's easier to use. It has more bells and whistles. It has more tools. I mean, that's what makes. And I agree with you. When I first started with Inkscape, I was in love with Inkscape. Oh man, I'm not paying for Corel Draw. And then I don't remember what caused me to do. Oh, Steve Good. Steve Good used to use Inkscape, and he started using Corel Draw, and I used to follow him. And me and him got to talking one day, and he says, "Russ, if you ever go over to Corel, you'll kick yourself in the butt for not going over sooner." And I'm like, "Can it be that great?" And he goes, "Yeah, let me tell you, it is." Yeah. So I don't remember how a period of time passed, and I decided to go ahead and buy it. And when I did, I'm like, "Oh my God, yeah, you're right. It's so much easier and better to use."
It's kind of funny you say that because some of the guys earlier in the program, when you started to use this, they said, "I use Steve Good 2.0." Because it's so much easier to use than doing it yourself, you know.
Yep. Oh, I know it is. But if you kind of see stuff like this that you want to create, comes to your mind and stuff, you know, it's good to be able to create your own scroll saw patterns. And it's not that hard to do. It really isn't, because I took a picture of a coffee cup off the internet and traced it and made that pattern. So you can take a picture just like I did and trace it and make patterns. And then you just type in the words. You don't have to create them. You can type the letters in and just squish them together, and boom, you got something made. So, yeah. Well, guys, I thank you all. Sorry I haven't been able to talk to y'all too much over in the chat. I see Tom's name. Good job.
The magic mirror is working.
But to see Katie over there through the mirror.
Robbie Sydney. Where's Miss Katie? It's Miss Katie. Katie Dotson. Hi, Katie. So some of those are all who are out there. It's so glad to have you with us today. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Brenda G's Designs out there. Bears Attic Woodshop. He's online. Jeff Robinson.
Katie says, "I'm so here." Jim Dockrell says, "I'm not here."
Yeah. I'm not here. Chris Nealon's still here. Too much drinking. Hey, I'm drinking water. This is just plain old H2O right here, guys.
Well, I'm not, so.
Yeah, neither am I.
I got the coffee.
You got the coffee.
Sorry, campers, it's my Saturday night, all right?
You know that doesn't bother me, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, but I'm going back out to the shop, so I need to keep all my digits so I can.
Yeah.
I'd love to, but I don't feel like digging snow. So.
Can't be like this.
Be careful with that, Al, because missing digit woodshop's already.
I know. It's copyrighted.
It's copyrighted, yeah.
Robbie Sidney says, Russ, make a makeup mirror from like she had on Romper Room. I might do that. I might just do that. My creation is still out there. So, guys, I hope you hope I showed you something tonight. We'll do more of these. I mean, from time to time. I'm planning on we say do more on here. I was planning on doing some over on the Twitch channel, since that is all about scroll sawing. But I'll still come in here from time to time and show y'all how to make some pretty neat stuff. And another thing, some of the stuff that you design too, we were talking about is not always laser, but it's also CNC. So some of these things you can use on the CNC. Not so this would be cut by a laser. It could be cut with a CNC. It's just there's a lot of detail in this when you get down.
Yeah, that's where it gets hard. Like in between those letters, the bit has to get smaller and longer too. I mean,
yeah. So I personally don't think this. I personally don't see this unless you made it a plaque and didn't go in real deep, like you said, like do a V carve. You could do that. You could use a bit on this. But
you need a few bit changes to do that with.
But Jim, that's not woodworking, so that
oh no, it's not. No,
I was gonna say,
it only takes you hours to do the thing.
If you can design it on the computer, and then you let the computer drive the router to cut the wood, at what point are you doing the work?
We had to cut the wood.
You had to cut the wood and put it on there.
Right.
That's right.
Oh, a couple of zips.
Here's what I get.
Zips to the bandsaw or the chop saw, and you're done.
Yeah, you had to go out and earn the money to buy the wood to buy the CNC.
Well, you gotta go buy the CNC. You're right. That's the woodwork part now.
There was an old lady who swallowed a spider. I don't know why she swallowed the spider. It wiggled and wiggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed the spider to swallow the fly.
Swallowed
that fly? I have no idea.
Perhaps she'll die.
I thought it was going to get into something like Nantucket or something. I don't know.
Oh, you don't remember that poem?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Perhaps she'll die.
Yeah.
Let's see. There wasn't. You can't say the horse because that's over. There was an old lady that swallowed a cow. Wow, she swallowed a cow. She swallowed the cow to swallow the dog. She swallowed the dog to swallow the cat. She swallowed the cat to swallow the mouse. She swallowed the mouse to swallow. Oh, I forgot somewhere. A bird. She swallowed the bird to swallow the spider that wiggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed the spider to swallow the fly, but I don't know why she swallowed the fly. Perhaps she'll die.
Exactly.
The last one is there was an old lady who swallowed a horse. She's dead, of course.
Oh, Wilbur.
Yeah, Wilbur. Yes, I used to be able to
be here all week, folks. Tip your wages.
I did those poems for my children and read them. I read to them a lot when they were little kids, and so a lot of that stuff, like that old lady that swallowed it, I know that by heart, pretty much. So even after all these years, it's a fly, spider, cat, dog, goat. There you go. I missed the goat. Cow, horse. I knew I was missing one of them was the goat.
Hey, Jim.
Somebody knows the whole poem.
Hey, Russ, Moonpie Creation says maybe you should mount it on wood and do a final video on it. You're going to do that on Twitch Wednesday night, aren't you?
Yes, I'm going to print this pattern out and cut this on Twitch on Wednesday night. So y'all join me over there on Twitch, guys. Come and watch me. I'm going to be cutting this out, and then I'll show you how I did it. This is that scroll saw wobble bowl that I did. Scallop bowl. I did over on Twitch. I usually 99.9% of the time, I took my time when I glued this together. I said, I'm going to try staining. This is like a dark walnut stain in a rattle can. And I decided to stain this thing dark, and it turned out good. I mean, I really like the way it looks.
Yeah, neat. Yeah.
And this is just cheap pine that you can get at the dollar store.
Hey, Russ, have you seen those bowls that they collapse down?
Yes.
To a pot holder? And you pick it up and it's the bowl.
Yeah, you can make those. They're not that hard to make.
That's pretty cool.
But I decided to do this. But I did this over on Twitch. I made this. I made the little trinket box live over on Twitch. I didn't know if y'all guys have seen this, but I did this in the dark. Matter of fact, I did this in the dark walnut, and that's what made me think about to do the bowl in the dark walnut. And made the little trinket box.
That's pretty.
Mhm.
It is nice. Good gift box. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just enough room to put like a set of ring. And boy, when you get this thing on there, put a set of rings in there or something. It's not. This is only 3/4 of an inch. This is made from what I say, 3/4 of an inch pieces of board.
You know, for some reason, with the size of that box, the first thing that came to mind was automotive piston rings. I'm like, why would you want to put piston rings in there? But
And then naturally, we made the reindeer, which has a moose nose. I got to change that. So. All right, guys, we're going to cut out of here. I appreciate y'all. Wow, it's 9:41. I didn't think it was that late, but it is. I appreciate you guys that we've had quite a few people watching us tonight. Thank you very, very, very much. A lot of people over in the chat. Thank you for being over there in the chat. Jeff Robinson, Katie Dotson, my good friend Katie, Becky, Texas Woodshop, Jim Dockrell, all of you guys that's been out there, Ken Moon. I'm not going to call all your names out. So, but thank you very much. Thank you to Brett and Chris and Jim Bashirs, Al, Paul. Thank you all for being here. Hey, you all guys mean a lot to me, especially when I'm doing this stuff like I'm doing. And y'all have your questions are great, but also you're watching the chat because I'm concentrating on this and can't look over there. So I appreciate y'all guys doing that for me.
Hey, Russ, before we log off, I don't want to put a damper on it. We've had a fun evening, but I just got a message that Brian Gibney's wife, Pam, is in the hospital and waiting for an ICU room.
Oh,
she's going to have surgery and something done to her artery. So she's in pretty rough shape.
Okay.
So everyone just keep her in your thoughts and your prayers. If you got them.
Prayers, yes.
Yep. If you are a praying person, then I would ask you to pray for her tonight because she's not good. She's had cancer.
So not to put a damper on things, but they've been chasing the problem for a while.
She has a blood clot, I believe, in her chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had lung cancer, and they went through chemo and all that kind of stuff. And she recovered and was been doing good, but she's never been what I would say 100%.
Right.
So,
my wife's a nurse, and she even says they're in for a tough battle.
Yeah, they are. So, guys,
so keep them in your thoughts, people.
Yep, keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and Brian too, because I mean he's going to be lost if anything happens to her.
Yeah.
Who's this Brenda Gibson? I accepted Brenda.
All right, guys, we only got one more thing left to do, and that is just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Remember, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Have a